Afternoon, everyone. I've just got to make sure my voice. There you go. So I just got to make sure that after lunch I'm still wide awake to speak. You guys hope you had a good lunch. Okay, so basically we have a pretty good panel here. I couldn't have expected a better mix of panel, in fact. We've got three retailers. We have two suppliers. And we have in Smollen Technologies, we've got a company which provides service to retail. So they're not vendors, but more process-oriented stuff. So we've got a pretty good panel out here. So this event, this session is about reinventing the in-store customer experience. We will talk about technology to a fair degree. But the whole focus is not only about technology, it's about how do you go about reinventing the entire experience, okay? Now, I don't know how many of y'all were there in the first session where we talked obviously about the connected customer. The customer today is really very tech savvy, very well connected, very aware. They want instant gratification. If things don't work out well for them, then they are very quick to share poor feedback. I think the Microsoft session also talked about a concept called showrooming, in case any of you don't know about it. It's about a customer who walks in, who's got a mobile phone. They walk into the store, and when they see a certain price, they would compare it elsewhere. And if it's obviously at a better price somewhere else, they walk out of the store and get it from there. Yeah. So with this kind of a promiscuous customer who's just looking for, good value everywhere, I'd like to start by talking to the retailers that how do you respond to this type of a customer? With the customer profile and the customer expectations changing, how do retailers respond to this type of a customer? Yeah, so we can start with maybe Yakin, you want to start from Hypercity?
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, to take it forward and to answer that, primarily just going back to the very much basic for that matter, a simple promise of having the products that we are talking about for the customers, making that available in the store, which reaches to the very, very basic saying that they come to the store expecting that we have the products for them, and the offers which we have communicated are available for them, and that's about as much as we can say on the very much basics for that.
So yeah, I'd expect that let me just put a little bit of context maybe to what you've said. We are talking about improving in-store customer experience, but probably from what I understand is that today we've got availability. You've got to make sure that the customer gets what he wants, right? We've got to start looking at least the basics and get the basics right, rather than looking at maybe new technology. Is that what you kind of refer
to start with, that is the best approach to start with.
Yeah.
And then moving on from there is helping and assisting the customers to give him the shopping experience that he wants within the store.
Okay, how about let's look at an apparel perspective. That's the Hypercity grocery perspective. Let's look at Sudesh from an apparel, and then let's look at Pantaloon post that.
Yeah, in addition to what Satish said, that the basic thing should be right, and the second thing is how quickly they can able to find the right product on the right shelf, because the customer should not hunt for the product too many places. And same thing, the last but not least is their experience in the last services, which is the checkouts. I think how fast, how quickly, how efficiently they can able to check out. That's more important for any consumer to get a better experience.
How about
so I agree with this. One is the availability is the most common, and the other important is how you are able to give that different experience to the consumer. Because he would have seen a lot of fashions, he would have seen online, offline, on social media, and then he wants to be a fashionable, or she wants to be a fashionable. So how you can help them to meet their aspiration to be fashionable once they are in store?
Okay, so if I understand what you're saying right is get the basics right in terms of availability. So have the right product in place, because at the end of the day, the customer experience is about, if I like something, I want to see it there, right? So that, and then I guess what you mentioned is take it forward and help a customer actually find the product that they're really looking for. Fine, that makes sense. Um, if we go a little bit deeper, yeah, so from a priority perspective, we said it is about availability and it's about helping the customer choose. If we go a little deeper and address some very specific points, processes rather within the store, let's talk a little bit about checkouts, okay, and how can we start improving checkouts, start looking at, checkouts tend to be a big pain point for anyone. In fact, me as a shopper, I go to various retail stores and I have the greatest experience shopping something. But when I go to the checkout and the speed of the queue is so slow, that just kills it. So I'd like to talk about checkout and really understand what can we do to improve the customer experience, to kind of close the loop, you know. So maybe Joaquin, you can start with the Hypercity side of it.
There are multiple points on the checkouts basically. One is the speed of billing that we can talk about. The other is the stress level on the weekends when the billing really goes very high. So keeping two things separate, I'll speak on the later one, which is how do we manage the billing when there is a huge traffic inflow. And that's where when the customers come shopping on the weekends, their expectation is that they have the smallest possible wait time on the checkouts and move out after their shopping is done. In a way, what we have done at Hypercity is we have designed a mobile POS application basically, which is in sync with our primary POS tills. So we have a queue busting solution in place whereby we can actually approach the customers in the queue and scan their products out, and in the end all that is required is that he just goes to the till, makes the payment and moves out. So that is one way in which we can increase the speed at which we provide the service to the customers out over there. So that's one part to it. The other way is of course the speed of billing, and that primarily depends on the different format to different formats. So in a Hypercity or in a hypermarket formats, the average number of the basket size is quite large. So, we have to increase the number of checkouts out over there to be able to help the customer bill out faster. And with some setup issues, and that's about all.
Okay, so let me just go to the NEC, to the vendor who's actually providing checkout-based solutions, yeah? What do you see and what, again, this is not specifically related to NEC, but worldwide, what are you all seeing as areas to improve the checkout process overall?
Thanks, Vikram. I'll not try to sell NEC here. So 3 parts to it is, first is why not promote self-checkouts? Once you have few items, maybe you know where to go, what to buy, and straight, checkout, self-checkout. The second part to it is, you have mobile counters, the queue busting solution, especially for weekends or for the time when you have, full counters. And third one is to improve on the counters, existing counters you have, because that's the infrastructure you cannot change. So first part, self-checkout, yes, we have to aware the consumer. Maybe a loyal customer, we can extend that service because he knows what Hypercity is because he's your loyal customer. Second thing, queue busting, maybe 1 or 2 items, 3 items, 4 items, customer can go, actually the staff can go to the customer and do a billing. The third part is the billing, which you said billing takes time. So why not, integrate billing with payment too? Billing, obviously billing is in your control. You can do billing very fast. But when it comes to payment, you have to go to bank gateways. That sometimes take time because credit card, you see McDonald's now accepting credit cards. Earlier they were saying only cash. So if we control or improve the existing infrastructure, which is billing plus payment, I think we can save good amount of time there. We have seen customers saving about 80% of the time in their particular industry without investing anything on the external infrastructure.
Okay. You did talk about self-checkouts, and I wouldn't go into that right now, but at a later point in this discussion, I'd like to talk about, we know self-checkouts have been out there for a long time, but why are we really not adopting that kind of process or technology? We'll talk about it a little bit later. Let me just move on to a little bit more technology-driven service, okay? So we've talked about checkouts within the store, and we realize that there's queue busting and there are other things that we can do. from a service perspective, how is technology starting to enable the staff within the store? If we can get a perspective maybe from lifestyle and from Pantaloon on that, that would help. And Smollan, let's start with Rajan from Smollan as to what are you all doing in that front?
I think it's a very important aspect, technology. As the shoppers, they've got various avenues of shopping, with tablets, with technology. So we believe that, engaging with the shopper in the store is extremely important. We try and capture, a lot of information about the shopper initially. And what we try and do is engage with the shopper, aid them in buying actually. Now, something that's quite different, that we're trying to do in India is a project where we're trying to help the shoppers and the customers buy products what they want. Typically when you go to a store, you could see people rushing to you and saying that, this product should be bought, this product should be bought. But very often that we see that, we try and help the customer buy what he wants. We also believe that, engaging the shopper, there could be a lot of interactive, engagements that we could have with the shopper while he's in the store. Now, it could be either through mobile, it could be through engaging with him on a phone, it could be using a Wi-Fi technology, it could be using a Bluetooth technology, about how do you engage with the shopper and, give discounts, instantaneous offers that you could give the shopper. I also believe that, the other key factor, that could differentiate, a particular chain would be the experiential sampling that you do in a store. Now, we talk about the products, unless, you make the shoppers, aware about the benefits and the usage of the products, we also share with them certain links, that they can actually go and see the reviews about the shoppers who have earlier bought the product. Now, I just wanted to share a thought with the team here to say, using technology, the retail would evolve to a next level in the next few years. Now, a housewife actually would make a list, on a mobile phone and go to a particular store. Now, using technology, what we could actually do is, once the potential shopper is in the store, you could actually cluster them into in such a way, that it's clustered in the right aisles. So, for example, if I want to buy certain products of, let's say shampoos, it could be clustered in such a way that, it would assist me to navigate through the stores in a much better way. It would help the billing faster so that I can actually navigate through the stores much faster. It would also help, in aspects where I could actually try and track which, product is out of stock, so that the next time the servicing could be much better. So these are a few ways I believe that we could actually engage with the shoppers much better using technology.
Yeah, so I think we'll probably need to touch on that point a little bit later. The fact that these kinds of practices have been adopted and may be successful internationally, but how relevant are they to India? And really, how should we prioritize when we are talking about bringing in a better customer experience in store? What is the first thing we want to do? Do we want to start looking at prioritizing the aisles, or do we want to look at other, other mechanisms to improve the immediate customer kind of experience? Yeah. If I can have Sudesh, if you can share with me a similar perspective on how are you enabling, or what have you seen about staff enabling the customers in the store, with the help of new technology?
Yeah, I think we cannot go away without technology. Technology is continuously coming up, and we need to adopt new technology to improve the consumer experience. Especially what the storefront, what we need to do is we need to align the reskilling of the people, store staffs to better equip with the technology awareness and the solution providing to the consumer. Also, in the terms of the hiring process, also we need to improve upon, because the kind of people we hired so far is not truly technology driven. But moving forward, if we are adopting any technology based solution, I think recruitment also based on that, or continuous training has to be done. that will definitely improve the consumer experience. Technology can play a greater role to provide the value-added services to the consumer beside the right product.
Yeah, so just to share with you my experience is, I've seen, for example, a retail format, a retail store chain, which let's say sells home furniture. Now, in a certain store, it has a finite size and you have a lot of home furniture. You cannot put all of that furniture into every single store. So what do? You then start looking at how do I make it available to everyone? That's where you can start using technology. Put it on a tablet, let people browse, but then don't just stop at browsing, because then you've lost the customer once he's walked out of, finished the browsing session, right? So you want to actually let the customer browse, place the order there and then, and only then walk out. So I think maybe, it's probably not a broad brush application to all areas, but you should probably look at it from a very specific category, specific play. I think that would probably be more relevant. Let me come back to Bhavesh. As a supplier of technology products, what are you all seeing, or what are you seeing as, again, technology that is coming into the store to enable the staff?
Enable staff. Okay, thanks, Vikram. I think there are various trends which we see in terms of capability of the technology being used for enabling the staff. At ETP, what we generally look at is two distinct formats. So each format of retailing would have a different use of technology. So if I take a specialty retail scenario where the customer engagement is of a very high level, and where there is a lot of kind of selling involved or convincing involved, there of course we've seen a lot of good use of technology. For example, I know in Wills where ITC Wills, where they use the systems the best, the customer actually, the salesperson would, the only leading question a customer would, the salesperson would ask is whether he shopped at the store earlier or any of the Wills store. And that sets the tone actually. And if there is such type of customer buying behavior already established, then the salesperson can really start advising the customer in the right manner, whether it's the colors, the sizes, the choices, and try to upsell as well. When it comes to a large format retailing, where it's all about speed, accuracy of invoicing or billing at the counter, I think the technology is used more in terms of making sure that the salespeople can have an integrated payment system, which is with the point of sales. There's a huge challenge we've seen in the past, and I'm sure some of you would have experienced here as retailers on how do you integrate your CRM programs, your loyalty programs, and still make the sales staff accountable for capturing all customer information, whilst they are not really involved in the entire sales engagement. So that's an area where we see a lot of use of technology to have an integrated payment gateways, cash card, gift cards being integrated, and help the retailers to actually have better servicing for the customers. So quite a lot of use of technology in these areas.
Yeah, so what does it mean then for staff in the store? So let's say you've got a store